Welcome to the show, Lori. I'm so excited to have you on here. Would you please introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Thank you for, first of all, thank you for having me. My name is Lorant Nemeth, but please call me old Lori. This is my nickname since the kindergarten on, and I'm pretty much, comfortable with it. I am a parent and teen peak performance coach. I help parents to reconnect with their children who are seemingly lost in the virtual world regarding social media and or video games as well. By doing so, I have a mentoring program for parents where I educate them in the virtual world of the children, and I have also a coaching program, which is a world exclusive coaching method, which I developed in the last 5 or 6 years, and everything is based on my own experiences. And my experience from coaching as well.
I love it. So tell me, how did you get into this? And was it a personal childhood experience that led you to this? And how has it helped you as a parent?
That's a really good question. Okay, first of all, let me take you back in time. The year is 2005. It's my last year at the university. By the way, I graduated as a teacher. So it's my last year at the university, and my parents got divorced. And it was a peaceful divorce. So no hard feelings, no hard emotions, just two souls separated, and and it wasn't that heavy in emotions for me as I was already an adult. But I stayed with my mom. But my dad moved like 5 minutes away from us. And for those who are watching this episode, yes, I'm sitting in a car, but I'm not driving. I'm just in a parking lot. So everything is safe and sound. Don't worry, kids. Yeah, I visited my dad on regular basis, like 3 to 4 times a week. And first it was just me, and we were having some really nice talks. We played some card games, we played some board games, we watched some movies. We are having a good times back there. But after a while it felt, like grayed out, everything grayed out. Like I must go. I felt this, that I have to be there. But we ran out of stories, we ran out of topics, and we were just sitting there, like staring at each other, right? And then I invited some of my good old friends to my dad's apartment, and then everything started again. We had some great talks. We played card games. We played board games. We were watching movies. We were having a good time. And then one of my really, really good friends asked me, like, why don't we play a role-playing game? Because he knew that I was into role-playing games since the early 90s, like 1993 or 4 till today. And I played like different types of games. So for those who are listening or watching this and don't know what role playing game is, but I'm pretty sure everyone is aware of the fact, like, the basic role playing game is where you are sitting at a table with some friends, and somebody is telling a story in a fictional world, and all the others are playing inside that story, inside that fictional world with some fictional characters. In the US, I do know that the most popular fantasy role-playing game is Dungeons and Dragons, also known as D&D. And I also tried D&D. I played D&D a lot, but I also tried out many other role-playing games as well. And in particular, when my friend suggested that we should play role-playing games, my dad wanted to back out immediately by saying something like, "Oh, I leave you to it, boys. I will watch TV in the other room." And I said, "Stop right there, old man, because you gonna join us." And he did. And we played together for 1.5 year long, 3 to 4 times a week, and 6 to 8 hours per session, approximately. Yeah. And I did not realize back there the positive long-term benefits of those sessions, but later, because fast forwarding in time, jumping in 2015, where I got my ICF life coach certification. ICF is the International Coach Federation. So I am also an ICF accredited life coach. And I started to think on, and those who are coaches, just as you, when you started coaching, you wanted to help everyone, like friends, family, whoever comes in your way, right? And that was also by me the same. But then I realized that I cannot help everyone. In fact, I don't want to help everyone. But who are those people who are close to me? And then it hit me: the parents. And then I started to focus on parents, and then I started to think about the times which I had with my dad. And I also was thinking of the time after and the positive benefits which I gained from that role-playing game gaming time back there, because actually our communication increased with my dad a lot. And we started to build up, like, like common positive memories for the future. And right now, I can say totally after, but that was 2005, 2006, 7-ish. After all those years, yeah, I still have a good connection and relationship with my dad. In fact, we are talking on daily basis on a phone, at least 1 or 2 times a day. And I don't mention my mom because my mom passed away in 2012. So those who are moms and watching this or listening to this, it's not because I wasn't focusing on moms. It's just my mom passed away, so I couldn't try this method with her. So yeah, but my dad turned out to be a pretty solid lab rat, if I may say so. So this is where it all began, 2015, but earlier in 2005.
Wow. Well, I'm really sorry about the loss of your mom.
Thank you.
And but congratulations with having been able to make that connection with your father. And I'm sure that that was also a surprise to him, because most of us adults are not usually. Our first thought is not, let's go play a video game together to connect. Although I'm pretty sure that there are some people, and those are probably the people that would come to you for parenting advice, which is great. So for me, that would be such a weird thing, because I've never been able to. I have tried. I cannot even get into paper aisle. So, but my kids, they do end up getting, sometimes into games, and I have seen that connection. As you're speaking, I'm thinking, my husband has been able to connect with them by joining them with some of those games. And sometimes they're like, oh, come on, mom, just give it a try. And for me, that's really hard, but I've given it a try and I just cannot just connect that way. So I have to find my own way. So since we're talking about video games, and I'm an anti-bullying coach and educator, and one of the things that I constantly read is that boys, because they hang out mostly with, the gaming systems,
Yep.
they tend to get bullied more on those platforms than girls do. What have you seen yourself during your experience playing with your dad or with your friends in regards to bullying?
Well, we did not bully each other
That's good.
because it was like we were mocking each other, but in a funny way, But I do know that cyberbullying is a real thing, especially now in 2020 and 2021, when COVID hit. the whole world in 2020, and everyone went, like homeschooling and virtual. Everyone went virtual, like regarding job, regarding school, regarding everything, almost everything. So I do understand the threat and how real this is. And yes, you are right, because in most of the time, boys are bullied in online virtual games, in online games. Yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
Is that something that parents come to you as a concern?
Yes, yes, that is one thing. And the other thing is how they like to say it, game addiction.
Mm.
Like my son or my daughter or my children are addicted to video games, are addicted to social media. What can I do? Because I'm still consider myself as a gamer as well. So role playing game is one of my passions still today, and video games my other one. And I know how hard it can be, because when I was a kid, when I was a teenager, I was in the same shoes. Like went home from school, tossed my school bag in the corner, sat in front of the PC, which was a Pentium 1 or Pentium 2 for those the geeks who are listening. You know what I'm talking about. Um, and I started to play. And back there, it wasn't even online games, because we had also these dial-up internet connections, right? So it wasn't even about online games. It was just offline game. But I sat in front of the computer like from 2 p.m. in the afternoon till 1 a.m. in the morning, or even 2 a.m. in the morning. And I had a lot of fights with my parents, like a ton. And I was punished, I was grounded, um, internet was taken away, computer was taken away. But I found always a way to feed my, so to speak, addiction. So it's not a solution, dear parents, if you are listening, to take away the kids electrical device, or to cut off the child from the internet in that sense.
So how should a parent approach it if they feel like most of their screen time is being spent with gaming? And like you said, don't take it away. So how should they manage this situation?
Well, first they need to learn the patterns behind the video games, because you know uh, in most of the cases, if you are talking about online video games, that is a pattern. And if you're watching like in an objective way, and you don't get emotional. But I do know it's hard, especially when you are a parent, and I do know the struggle when you come home after a hard working day, and all you want to do is to have some quality time with your family, to have dinner together, to talk about how was your day. I do get it, and you go into the room of your kid, and everything what you can see is this. And you talk to try to communicate with your child, like, come on kiddo, let's have some dinner. And whether you got receive a zero response or a really negative response, like, leave me alone, leave me be, I hate you, I don't want to eat, I'm not hungry, etc., 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 and then the whole thing erupts like a volcano, and boom, there you have a fight again. But what parents need to understand, that before they enter the room, they are already on high alert. They are already preparing for war, so to speak, because it's also programmed into our brain to whatever the kid is doing, I'm gonna yell at the kid. And it is coming from our past experiences, how we were raised. and what we experience with our kid. And it's really hard to start all over again with a clean sheet, so to speak. Yeah, and I do understand it, as I'm also a parent myself, so I know the struggles of both worlds. And here is the thing, like, when parents understand the patterns behind the video games, and they start to use the love language of their children, then they can communicate on a much more deeper level with their children. In other words, just imagine the following situation. Let's go back to where you arrive at home after a hardworking day. If you play the game of imagination with me, you can understand. You also feel the struggle, right? So you come home, you want to have some nice family time, some nice family dinner, and the kid is playing. But instead of saying or asking, come, let's have some dinner and let's have some quality time, and before you say this, I used to educate the parents how they can approach the child, because what the parents need to understand, if the child is in the flow, aka he or she is playing, he will react on a totally different way, because the hormones in the body and the adrenaline is booming in their heads, basically, and they won't react as we parents would love to have it, because they are focusing on the game, they are in the flow, and if you interrupt that flow, then hell is raised, basically. So instead of going like, let's have some dinner, let's go with a question like, how long will that turn take? Most of the online games are turn based, and each and every turn has an end sooner or later, right? And if you go with that kind of question, yeah, then it's checkmate for the kid, because then he will like totally pull the handbrake, like, what did you just ask? And you just get him or her out of his comfort zone, including yourself as well. And then if you're asking such a question, then you will receive two things: the attention of the child and some little bit positive answer. You know what I mean?
Right.
And this is where everything starts. And this is what I also educate parents. This is the mentoring program. I call it Gamepathy mentoring program.
Yeah, I love that. There's so much here, because I think so parents, for the most part, who are not gaming with their children, have no idea
Yep.
of what, like what you said, the pauses or the ads. I just realized, oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that there were ads in the middle of a game, or that the turns, and that makes so much sense. So yeah, you use that to sneak in there and ask that question. So I like how you teach us, of course, and it helps that your experience. You were a child that played and a parent now that still plays, and you have found a way to make it work for both. Because I think that when parents think, "Oh, my child games more than 3 hours at a time," that there's a problem, and that's not necessarily true. It's just that some of us like to read for several hours, some of us like to binge watch stuff for several hours, and some of them like to play games. And for some reason,
Yes.
right, but
Yes.
for some reason, gaming for a period of hours kind of has a stronger negative stigma. Would you think? Do you think that's accurate?
Stigma, yes, but only stigma. Because and I watched it on TED Talks. So before everyone thinks that I have these ideas from just like out of nowhere, There is a university in Switzerland, and there is a professor, and I'm sorry, I cannot recall her name, but the lady is studying the skills of gamer teens. Yeah,
Okay, interesting.
yeah, like how games positively can affect your reaction time, how games can affect in a positive way your strategical thinking, how games can positively affect your um, logic, like how you logically building up things in your mind, and how fast. It's crazy. Everyone is like, because when you play for that long, then your eyes will melt out of your head, or your brain will melt down, or something will happen. Well, it was true in my time when I was a kid, when I was a teenager, and I was sitting in front of those big ugly monitors with 60 to 65 hertz, and the vibration, yeah, did infected my vision. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, I do have that struggle. I do have that struggle.
Oh my gosh, this is so good. So you mentioned something, and I'm glad that you said it this way, that you're just not coming up with these ideas, that you actually got it from somewhere, a valid source, this professor. So I love that you mentioned that, just so that people know you're not just like reading dad blogs and grabbing all this information and sharing it. That's something that I always tell people too, is like, I'm not just, these are not my opinions. I actually research this stuff, and I see, and I know that you do too. And as a matter of fact, one of the things that really attracted me to learning more about your RPG coaching is that you use the global DISC assessment. And I think a lot of parents are not aware of this and don't take advantage of this. Can you tell us a little bit about how you use this?
Yes, the global disc, first things first, let's clarify what the global disc is. The global disc is, plainly spoken, a personality test which shows on a deeper level why we say what we say, how we say what we say, and how we should approach things differently. Um, because and of course it has a result, right? And if you know DISC, because global DISC and DISC are not the same, but if you remember, if you read something about DISC assessments, like I am a red person, I am a yellow person, I'm a green person, I'm a blue person, those are the four colors with which DISC and global DISC operates. But it's just a, like in that moment when you fill out the test, so it's not the whole personality of you, it's just that moment when you filled out the test, it's just a fiction of your current mood regarding your whatever. So yeah, I'm using the global disc if needed to help parents um, to create their own character in my coaching program, because I'm not using global disc as other global disc members are using it.
Mhm.
I'm using it in a with a twist, basically.
Right.
So this is how I see it. When I receive the result of the assessment, I can see, like, for instance, somebody is more of an I person, which means a yellow person, who is usually what I call the entertainer. I also consider myself more as an entertainer. The green ones are the healers, if we are talking role-playing game terms. The blues are the wizards, and the red ones are the warriors. And the yellow, the entertainers, are basically singers or bards or poets, whatever we call them. So yeah, this is helping me to create together with the parents a character, which is still it's still them, it's still their personality, it's still their personal traits, it's them, but in a totally different fictional world.
I love that. It's a very unique way to help out parents, and it's I know because I've used the DISC assessment, of course, a little bit different. I know that it's powerful if you have a coach that knows how to read it back to you, break it down to the parent and the child, and say, "Hey, this is why you do this, and this is why you do that, and this is how you can both work together and avoid this because that usually doesn't work for you." As a matter of fact, I was even given an example, like if you want to give one of your kids a chore, and this one of them is a very strong D. So she said, if you choose to give her like go and organize the garage, that's not going to work for her. That's going to be torture. I was like, oh, okay. So just learning those little things that seem insignificant can go such a long way because it helps you just reconnect better and also collaborate better and understand your child better. So I love that you're doing this. I love that you're helping parents with children who game a lot, and you're probably giving them so much peace of mind. And you're also gifting them like really great memories because our children need a lot of allies. They need really good communication with parents and other adults in their lives. So tell us, do you have any type of events coming up or anything that we should know if maybe a parent's listening and wants to reach out to you?
Oh, well, it's a good question. When this episode will air, I won't have any events. I did had a 5-day challenge with two other coaches, which were called Breakthrough the Screen Challenge. And with the two other coaches, we were one coach was doing a day with mindset, one coach was doing a day with nutrition and movement, and I was doing a day with virtual, like the virtual world of the children, and we were doing 2 days together, basically, where we were answering questions and just giving a huge amount of value. But the good news is that this was recorded, and if you would like to have it, then you just text me and I will send you the link. It has also a small amount of cost, obviously, but it's not that huge amount. Don't ask me how much it costs right now, because it we three did this together. And one of my good friends, he's a coach in Canada, and he did the technical part.
Got it.
I also could do the technical part, but I was just leaving to it as I'm in the middle of renovation of the house where I was born and raised, and we are in the middle of moving from the capital to the small town. So I was like, okay, if you want to do it, do it. So yeah, I have the link, I have everything, but if you need it, because it wasn't broadcasted in that wide area, but I do have everything. So if you're interested in, just text me, reach out to me on Instagram, and I will send you over the link.
Perfect. Yeah. So there you go. So send him a DM, everybody. Lori, thank you so much. I love what you're doing. I'm definitely going to continue to stay up to date with what you're doing. And maybe we can do some type of collaboration in the future. So thank you for making time right now during this difficult time of your renovation, which is why you're in your car right now. But
yeah, exactly.
but
No
hey,
worries, no worries.
right? That's adulting and parenting. That's what it looks like. So
Yeah,
thank you so much.
absolutely.
Yeah. Any last words before we go?
Well, just to parents who are struggling with all these things, uh, because your child is playing video games, it doesn't mean necessarily that he has some issues like bullying or something, it means that he just simply enjoying the game. And be open-minded. Be open-minded to the video game, and be open-minded to the procedure, and ask genuine questions. Like, really show some genuine interest towards the passion of your child, and your child will open up on a totally different but even deeper level.
I love that. Those are such wise words. Thank you so much. And lastly, where can people find you online?
Online, mostly I'm active on Instagram, sort of, kind of. You can reach me under my Instagram handle, which is called RPG Coaching. I'm also on Facebook, obviously. You can find me on Facebook. I think the same. If you type in RPG Coaching, I'm not quite sure, but I need to check. And I will text it over to you later.
Okay.
The exact link. I have also a YouTube channel with the same, like, RPG Coaching, and I have a podcast which is called the Gamepathy Podcast. It's available on all huge podcast platforms like Apple, Google, Anchor. I don't know. It's hosted by Anchor. I really love that app, and it's not an advertisement here, folks. It's just a statement. So yeah, I'm pretty much on every channels. I'm also on Twitter, but I'm not using that platform that much.
And also on gamepathy.com, right?
Oh yeah, and of course I have my website, gamepathy.com. Thank you for reminding me. And you can also send me there an email, or you just type in hello@gamepathy.com. This is my email address, so you can email me also directly.
Perfect. Thank you so much for making time to be here on the show. And
thank you for having me.
Yeah, and thank you for your dedication to helping parents and children.
Yeah, well, this is my mission. Like, I also help other people, like coaches as well, but helping parents and their teens, it's my calling, basically.
Yeah, I hear you. Same here. That's why we connected. Well, all right.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day.
I thank you, and I wish the same to you as well.
Thank you. Well, there you go. I really love having this conversation with Lori. He's really opened up my eyes to, learning that gaming is not as bad as people make it sound to be if you know how to use it properly. And that is where he comes in. If you have a concern about your child being on gaming systems too much, then get with him and see how he can help you use that to your benefit, to both of your benefits. So so there you go. All right, well, if you really like this video, please share it, share the love. And I also want to invite you to sign up for my newsletter at Dalitalks.com so that you can get more resources like these and learn of upcoming guests and upcoming events. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.